We're here today in Woodford County, and I'm here with Jan Nappage with the University of Kentucky. You're all about eating healthy. You're here with Cook Wild Kentucky. Tell me what Cook Wild Kentucky is.
So Cook Wild Kentucky is a new initiative with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension where we are working on creating nutritious and delicious wild game recipes.
Okay, so if you're a hunter and a fisherman and you've got a recipe book, but you don't know, am I really eating healthy? This is a way where you can find out exactly what you're eating.
Yes. So we have a registered dietitian in our office who looks at each recipe. She will put it through this nutrition processor that we have, and she can tell us all the nutrients that are in it, from the macros, so that's your fats, your carbohydrates, your protein, down to your micronutrients like your vitamins and minerals. We are able to tell what are in each of these recipes.
And these recipes range from fish all the way to turkey and deer and rabbit, a little bit of everything.
Right. We were talking with Feeding Kentucky, formerly known as Kentucky Association of Food Banks. We were talking with their executive director, and she said, sometimes we get donated venison, and because people have lost touch with where their food comes from at times, people have been intimidated to cook this venison at home. So it comes in the ground form, 1 pound packages, and when they are offering it to clients at the food pantries, they might not take it because they're worried that they won't know how to cook it. So this was one way that University of Kentucky's nutrition education program knew that we could help, because we're always creating and taste testing recipes, and we said, we can do one small part and we can create recipes that are easy to follow, but then they meet the dietary guidelines for Americans, and so it's a win-win. It was really awesome to partner with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, Kentucky Department of Agriculture, Feeding Kentucky, Hunters for the Hungry, to make this possible. Because I just think this is one avenue that Kentuckians can use to get those nutrients into their weekly, monthly meals.
So Elizabeth, we have some ground venison here today. And you're gonna make this deer camp sausage. So tell me, how did you guys come up with these recipes?
Well, so these recipes were put together through the SNAP-Ed program, through the Cooperative Extension Service, and we really want these recipes to be nutritious, but we also want them to be good, and we want them to be tasteful, but also easy for people to make.
Okay.
So I'll show you the recipe. It's very simple. Anybody who has ever taken a deer has likely had ground venison. As you know, with ground venison, it's very lean. So we are gonna add a little bit of ground pork.
Okay.
So that, of course, is going to add just a little bit of flavor, and that's not only going to add just a little bit of fat, it's still going to be a nutritious meal, but it's also going to add just a little bit of flavor, and it's going to make it a little more tender when we cook this up.
So the great thing about this is, regardless of what time of year, what type of species, there are recipes for about every taste.
Yes.
And at any time of year.
That's right.
From fish to duck.
Exactly. And with these recipes, that's what we want. We want people to know all these different ways that you can cook it. And you can edit it in your kitchen. Do what your family likes. So in this recipe, there's a variety of different seasonings here. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix that in with my hands.
So for a person who wants to make this at home, they can get the exact recipe at what website?
That's right, at planeatmove.com.
Okay.
All of these recipes are available.
Okay. And also, the county extension offices have recipe cards as well.
Yes, so the county extension offices in Kentucky, in every county we have an extension office, these recipe cards are available. You can just stop in and ask them for the Cook Wild Kentucky recipe cards, and we'll have those for them. So now we're going to make patties, and the recipe makes about 16 patties, depending on the size, of course. And we're going to go ahead and fry those up in the skillet. Here is our sausage.
That smells fantastic.
It smells wonderful. So there is our healthy deer camp breakfast sausage.
So, and this here, all the nutritional value is all right here. You guys have already calculated it all out. What have been your favorite recipes so far?
Well, so this is one of my favorite recipes, but as far as the Cook Wild Kentucky program goes, I have done a little bit with teaching people how to cook wild game, because of course it's different than just cooking beef or pork.
Tell me your one tip you give a person that's going to try cooking wild game for the first time. What would that one tip be?
Low and slow.
Okay.
Yes.
Low and slow.
Yes.
I'm going to give this a try if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. Give it a try.
I'm gonna
Give it a bite.
Pinch off a piece of this. See what we've got here. Looks great.
You can smell
know,
the sage and the oregano.
It's a great idea, and I look forward to utilizing most of these recipes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
definitely.
thank you so much for showing
Thank
us
you for
this,
being
and Deer
here.
Camp sausage. Can't beat it. So Becky, we're learning about all these opportunities to prepare wild game, and you're with Afield to Fork with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. This has got to be a perfect match for you.
It really is. We're super excited to share these resources with those who participate in Field to Fork. We're actually going to link the planeatmove.com website to the Field to Fork webpage at fw.ky.gov.
So you're really introducing people who are interested in the outdoors, interested in hunting, but really don't know, how do I get involved? What is the next step past just having some interest?
Right.
Well, then there's another big barrier. When a person goes out there and they have no idea how to handle or process their game, they take an animal, then they're like, wow, now what? Well, you're making this whole transition much easier for an
We're
individual.
trying to, yeah. We got feedback from the public. They wanted to learn how to hunt, but then they want to know how to get the meat on the table. So that's the whole fork part of Field to Fork, is teaching them how to cook it. And now we're really excited they can know exactly what's going on their plate nutrition-wise with these recipes.
It's a great fit for your program with Field to Fork, and you know, having the resources now for people to generate these recipes, share these recipes, and then give all the nutritional values. It really is a perfect program for you guys.
Yes, it is.